Okay, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Solomon Frank. My father is from South and my mother is from Oregon.
So we are in Micronesia,
Pohnpei.
Pohnpei, not to be confused with the place in Italy. This is Pohnpei that also has a Venice.
We do. Venice of the Pacific.
Yeah, the ancient Venice of the Pacific, a mysterious place. The stones came from another island, right?
They call it Pusian Malik, the Chicken Shit Mountain.
Also, it might have been quarried on this.
Yeah.
But the point is it's
impossible to move them.
And it's impossible to believe that the heaviest stone is like 53 tons.
Right. Can't even go on a ship.
Can't even go on a ship, and yet these stones were somehow moved into place. Anyways, we slightly digress, but if somebody wants to look up what this island is famous for, it is that ancient, amazing archaeological site.
Right.
Now, right now, your business that you started is bringing stuff here from the United States. Is that right?
We are trying to aid the Pohnpeians that live abroad working out there in the U.S., and we're trying to help them ship stuff to their family directly. So we drive from city to city, state to state, and bring everything in. And we just consolidate into 40-foot containers and then ship them all over.
And you started this business how long ago?
So in 2018, I had finished graduate school, and I was trying to create economic opportunity to the outer islands. We tried to do a seaweed project, but unfortunately during COVID it got washed away. And so
seaweed, you were trying to grow seaweed to eat for export.
For export. So then the transportation out here is not very good, and so what we were trying to do was to create something that we could sell, so then we can pay for transportation ourselves, either buy a ship or charter ships. And it didn't work out the way that we wanted to, and so we got into the shipping of goods, because when we first shipped our first container, it was for the seaweed, but we didn't have enough capital, so we tried to leverage the community and ask them if they wanted to join us in shipping home. And so we charged them a small fee, and we used half of the container, they used half of the container. And then the next time we went out there, they want us to do it again, and we had people traveling far distances, and we didn't think that was safe, so we decided to start expanding into the rest of the U.S.
And you said something interesting, that when you first started out, this was 2018, you started and you said out of sentiment, you started with the outer islands, your people.
Yes, my father's from the outer islands. He brought me out here when I was young, like around 12 years old, and that really got me into trying to come back and give back. He really instilled that into me to give back to my community, and so I tried to do that through football. That didn't work out, so I guess I got an education.
Wait a second. So you got to rewind a little bit here. So until 12, you were in the U.S.
Yeah, I was born and raised in the U.S. Then, unfortunately, my grandfather was sick, and so my father wanted me to bring me home to meet him. And then once I came back in 2012, I fell in love with this place, and always wanted to come back and give back.
And how did it happen that you ended up going to Thunderbird? Was it for graduate school or undergrad?
Yeah, so they didn't offer undergraduate studies until just a few years ago, but I went for graduate school. I had come here in 2015 and didn't feel that I had enough tools in my toolkit to be able to aid the island, and so I went to Thunderbird to gain more knowledge, to be able to start more international business out here. And so then that's where I came up with the seaweed idea, which led me to exporting from the U.S. to Pohnpei.
This is a great story, because so when I gave book talks after my first book was published, people said, where are the failure stories? If most startups fail and your book is about successes, then your book isn't really about entrepreneurship. You need to include more stories of failure.
Right.
But what a lot of people say is, with their first failed company, they learned stuff that helped launch the second.
Right. Well, it kind of just, they went hand in hand. So the seaweed was something that was great, but again, transportation was very poor, and it still is. We have very big problems with transportation here. And also during COVID, they closed the borders of Pohnpei, and so we weren't able to get back to help with the seaweed itself. And so unfortunately, like I said earlier, it had washed away. And so now we've moved on to something that people have seen as a necessity. And so then throughout the entire COVID, we were shipping goods for people because all the Pohnpeians were essential workers, so they never stopped working, and we just helped them ship stuff home because they weren't able to spend their excess income because everything was closed. And so then we just helped them ship home, and now it's been expanded into many different states and cities.
The backstory, we got to fill it in a little bit. You're 12, you fall in love with this place. Where'd you go to high school?
In Oregon. I went to McKay High School, the most dangerous school in 2007.
Why was it the most dangerous school?
Most expulsions, lots of gangs, but...
In Oregon?
Yeah, it's not as bad as some other places, but yeah, it was pretty diverse. They spoke 22 different languages at my high school.
Wow. Well, where are some of the languages?
There were some Orthodox Russians, there's Vietnamese, people from Laos, the Micronesians, there's the Marshallese, there's English, obviously, people from Mexico, and all over the place.
Wow. Oregon, all right, a melting pot within a melting pot. You go there for high school. Where'd you go undergrad?
Undergrad, I went to the same, so I was a part of get kids to school, like a college program. It was called Willamette Academy, and they kind of filtered us into Willamette University, which is the first university west of the Mississippi.
What?
Yeah.
What's it called again?
Willamette University. Willamette University.
Willamette, shout out to Willamette. Where is it?
It is in Salem, Oregon.
And they were recruiting?
What's that?
They were basically recruiting people?
Yeah, and they were just trying to give underserved communities the opportunity to get to college and learn about what college was. So I'm a first generation college student, and so that was one of the criteria to get into the program.
Was it a free ride, full scholarship?
They said it was supposed to be, but I was pretty good at football, so I was able to get some money for that.
There we go. There's the football story coming back. Where did you learn football? High school?
No. I played since I was 5 years old. Or
Really?
no, 7 probably. I played flag football and then.
Okay, and it made a difference because you got a scholarship. And then Thunderbird was right after undergrad?
No. So it was maybe 2 years after. I had some injuries through college, which made me study, which was good. So then I decided that I should probably pursue school longer.
And there was 2 years in between. Were those the 2 years that you tried to come back here and teach football?
Nah, I wasn't into trying. What I learned was sports kind of consumed my life, and if I were to do sports out here as well, it would consume me. It wouldn't be like something so much helping economically. It'd be just more like spreading sports, which is it's a great thing to do and a noble deed, but it's just not something I felt that I would have a large enough impact on.
Well, I thought you said before there was something about trying to give back through football and sports. No?
Not in particular. No, yeah, I just played. I just played to be. Oh, what I said was I was trying to play football to gain enough money to be able to support people back here. Not bring football back.
Oh, okay. So basically, you tried to go pro.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, that's everyone's dream growing up.
So this is. Thank you so much, because I think this is fantastic in the sense of, again, I as I said, people were like, "Where are the failure stories?" We can tell. Is it fair, or am I exaggerating a little bit, that you didn't come straight to having a successful business? You had the challenges of trying to make it in football, didn't work. Tried to launch a seaweed business, the pandemic hits.
Yep.
And if I understood what you were saying, during the pandemic is when you realized there are people that are essential workers, they need to ship stuff back here.
That was part of it, yeah. But before 2019, I had gone back to Washington, and I had someone drive from Iowa 15 hours in one day, and they were bringing their stuff to ship back to the island. And 15 hours in one day is a lot to drive. And so I told them, like, don't do that again. And they told me that there's a large community of Pohnpeians in Storm Lake, which there is.
Storm Lake, Iowa?
Yep. And so then I went out to Storm Lake, Iowa, and met with some people, and then realized that this could be potentially an opportunity to expand. And so then, yeah.
And the logic was you said you had the containers because you were going to ship seaweed.
I was shipping my supplies to grow my seaweed, and then I couldn't pay for the whole container at the time, and so I offered it to our community up in Washington. Told them, like, you guys can send stuff to your family, and we could split the cost of the freight.
Got it.
And so then that led us to being able to do it further.
And now you got a self-sustaining business.
Yep, it's almost there.
Almost there.
Yeah. We've been in rapid expansion because there's so many people needing the service, and so the next phase of the business is to set up a warehouse to be able to accommodate everyone.
Okay. We asked about big challenges, and you said marketing.
Yeah. Traditional marketing, as far as the U.S. is concerned, doesn't work for the Pohnpeian customers. Primarily, what they use is Facebook and other things, and so that's been our main outlet to be able to market to these people.
Anything else at all? The number one thing you learned about starting a business? What's your big piece of advice for others?
Just keep pushing. Like he said, you do have failures and everything doesn't work out, but if you can find a way, you're gonna find the way.
How many people would you say you're serving at this point with what you're doing? Over 100 clients?
Nah.
No?
We just did 5 containers.
Yeah.
I would say it's 75 families per container. So that's families.
Yeah.
So that could be like 6 people per family. That'd be like 75 times 6, which is like less than 600. It's probably like 550. And then
Well, that's over 500.
oh yeah, we're at like 1,000, 2,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You know what's surprising about this? They don't stay there. They don't just send money. It's not remittances. They actually live there in the States and then move everything back here.
Yeah.
So we'll go and work, for a year, 2 years?
No, people are actually sending to their families because half of their family is here and half of their family is there. So we're sending washers, refrigerators, dryers, and then mainly what we send is like coolers and 27-gallon totes, and people just load those with the goods that they need, just to make life a little bit better out here.
I think I'm finally getting it. Okay, so, right, the problem is that there's not enough demand for, to open a store that sells these things. Is that right? And that's why people are buying it there and shipping it to their family members here?
Well, there's stores here, but the prices are so high. So you can purchase and ship through us, and it will be less than some of the things that are here, and they're U.S. quality that you're shipping.
Okay.
And so that's where the advantage is for the people.
And the stuff that gets imported here is something of lower quality.
Yeah, things that are well, they don't have to go through U.S. test or like
U.S. testing.
Yeah, U.S. testing. I don't know if that's the right word, but
certification.
Yeah, certification. U.S. certification.
Oh, and the last 2 tidbits. We started with trivia. We'll end with trivia. Because this was a U.S. territory, still is in a compact arrangement. There's a U.S. postal office here, a U.S. post office. There's U.S. zip codes. You gave us yours.
96941.
And a stamp bought in Boston to, if it's whatever it is, 50 cents, I forget what it is now, to mail something to New York City, it would be the same cost as for it to get 6,000 miles from California.
I don't know about the same cost, but the same...
the same stamps worth, though.
Yeah, so, but it would maybe be 3 stamps instead of 1.
Okay. I misunderstood.
Sorry.
Still, you can trust the U.S. Post Office to ship something from here to the States. You said their delivery here sometimes has been iffy.
That's why they're making us more busy, because it has. Yeah. So
this has created the
niche.
Market demand.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is a sign that we've gone just the right length, and it might be time to wrap up. Unless you have any last big words of wisdom that you want to share with the world. Shout out to Thunderbird alumni. We want to
shout out to Thunderbird. Yeah, that's a nice place. Yeah.
And the reason I was suddenly excited and perked up and felt like maybe the universe is telling us to wrap up is this is my new favorite Micronesian song. Smoking and Crying. Not an endorsement of smoking anything. So he's actually from the Marshall Islands, right?
Kiribati.
This is guys from Kiribati?
Yeah.
The island going underwater. Island nation going underwater. Was there last summer. Beautiful place. Shout out to my Kiribati friends. Do you remember the artist's name? Everybody, look it up. You won't regret.
Mr. Roar.
Mr. Roar, that's right. Smoking and Crying. Everything about this song is brilliant.
It is.
Okay. So, on that note, we're just going to tell people, look, if you can make it here, if you can afford it in terms of time and money,
come out. Yeah, this is a spot. It's not well traveled, and so people are friendly, and everybody. There's a lot of stuff to see, especially the ruins. You got to come see the ruins. It's like it's nothing you ever seen. They compare it to the pyramids, but
yes,
pyramids it makes sense, but this one don't make no sense.
It makes no sense how they were able to move the rocks, whether it was over land or by sea. It just defies imagination. Want to say something else? It was maybe almost like Mayan ruin. No, it doesn't. It's difficult to compare to anything. Because they kind of
I've been
made
to Mayans ruins. Yeah, it's kind of similar.
But well,
The timing, at least, like, doesn't make sense.
and in the sense it's almost reminiscent of like a pyramidal thing. But no, it's different. And they almost turned the black rock into logs. Is the weird thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And anyways. We'll end with the beats of Smoking and Crying.
Appreciate y'all.
How do you say goodbye locally here?
Castillelia.
Castillelia?
Right,
Is that how you said it in the outer islands too?
yeah,
Castillelia.
more or less. Yeah.
Castillelia from Micronesia.